Hey guys, this is Barrow from the Falcon team. I'm just here to give you guys an update on the setup as the bot has changed a bit and gonna be answering more questions and giving you a better guide this time around compared to the last video. Um, Again, we're gonna start right off the bat. The moment you get your bot, um, you should get an email which gives you a download link and an invite to the Discord. You just go ahead and join the Discord and then you message the Falcon authorization bot, and then they'll get you fully authorized to view all the rest of the channels. And then you just go to the download link. It should be something like this here. And then you start the download, and it should download there. It's gonna open the folder, and then you just click here or wherever it downloaded. Right click, or extract all, extract here, and then there it is. There's the bot. You can put this folder anywhere you want. Just make sure that you never remove the actual application from this folder. You can go ahead and you can pin this to anywhere you want, wherever you want. But you can make like a, let me see. So right now you can make a shortcut, and then you can take that to your desktop, and then there you go. Right now you can start the bot right here. You can rename it whatever you want. From here on out, you can start it from here. You don't have to like search through your folders. Just hit more info here if this comes up and run anyway. It might come up only the first time you start the bot. And the moment you open the bot, you have these two windows. This is the main bot, and then this would be the log window. Right here, this is where it would show you what's going on within the bot when you start a task. And it'll say adding to cart, this, and that. You just minimize this for now, and then if you ever want to go back and see, like, let's say you had like an error maybe, or you want to see how fast it checked out, you can see all that information within the log window here. Again, just like last time, we're going to be going through each tab in order and telling you guys what to do within them. So releases, again, this is more like a quick task page. Here you'll see all the items that are dropping for the week in a drop down, or not a drop down, in a scroll bar here. You can see this was for the CDG collab on week 4. Hasn't been updated because this is updated the after the Supreme EU drop, which is at 6 in the morning Eastern. It gets updated after that. So you'll see this updated probably like an hour before the US drop, which is at 11 a.m. Eastern. And here you can see the items dropping, the respectable sizes, and the respectable colors that it's dropping in. And basically we have like a vote system here, so you can see what other Falcon users like. And basically it's going to be ordered in that way, depending on how many upvotes it has. You just click this to vote. And then bam, it should raise the number, but I've already voted for the week, so. And then here, actions, that'll just add the task right there. As far as the settings up here, you can search, so you can say, let's say you wanted the sweatshirt. Sorry. All the sweatshirts will come up, you know. Bam, if you don't want anything, you don't search anything, you just want to see all the items, you just leave it like that. So, here you can choose your delays. Since you're probably going to be using this more as a quick task, you probably want to run a 0-second delay, because that's a perfect delay for restocks. If you have anything higher than that, you probably risk a chance of, not copping the item when it restocks, because other bots will be running 0 restock. Here you select the profile you want to run with, which is your credit card or an address that you want to run the item with. Here you have the option to auto start it. So if you click this and then you start, add the task, it'll automatically start it. This is very good. Here you have the option to set it up with all your profiles. So let's say you had like 5 profiles and you had set up a task for a small black hoodie, and you added the task. It'll make 5 tasks with one with each, and then it'll just start them up since you have the auto start on. Here you have the bypass Captcha, which is really good for restocks. Really recommend it. This will make it so you don't have to solve Captcha in the middle of the drop. We'll get into that later. Pooky is basically Supreme's bot detection. So the way it works is the bot, if you have Pooky enabled, the bot will make random mouse movements and stuff to trick Supreme's bot detection into thinking you're a human. And that gives you better success during usual drops. I don't really recommend it for restocks as it does add some time into the checkout time. Um, and that could really ruin your chances of catching a restock. Uh, in the past, you don't really need Pooky for restocks. It's mostly for the actual main drop at 11 a.m. Eastern. So this would be like a good setup right here for a quick task, and then you just bam, bam. As you can see, it created the task. So yeah, that's the again. This is updated after the Supreme EU drop, which is usually at 6 a.m. Eastern. And that would be 11 their time. I think it's BST. So it should be updated sometime after that and before the drop, and you will see the updated items here, and then you can start using it. Let's go to my task. There's a lot to cover here. So right here, the pencil is right off the bat where you create your task, and you have two task types. You have a custom, which is what our EU users should be using, since the normal tasks right here. This is basically the same as the releases page. This doesn't get updated with the new items until after the Supreme EU drop because we need to go onto the site there to get the actual keywords and stuff, make sure everything's good to go. Um, so for our EU customers, you have to use the keyword, you have to use custom, and you have to use a whole keyword system. Here it's basically you can see like the little light text. It'll tell you exactly how to use it. Um, you'll find keywords within the Discord. We update them as soon as we can, as you can see right here. This is for week 4, as you can see. It'll tell you the colors, the sizes, and then the words to run here. So for example, if you wanted to run for the split T last week, or the CDG split T last week, you would have ran split, and then the color that you wanted. Let's say you wanted a black one. Let's say you wanted a medium. Don't run smalls for EU. I don't think they ever drop smalls. Just a heads up. They don't drop those. And then this would be basically the setup for a black split T in medium. You would set up your profile here. Let's use my test profile, but you would set up the profile you would want here. Proxy, you don't really need one unless you're running a server, but I'll get into that later. Delay, uh, we recommend a 2.5 or something between 2 and 3. That's what we've had the most success with. So I like going 2.5 here. But another tip that I can give you guys is to run the same exact task with the same profile with different variation of delays. So for example, I like to run one with 0, just in case Supreme doesn't really have like crazy bot detection that week, and then maybe one with 2, and then maybe one with 3. Or if I'm too lazy to set up that week, I'll probably just run with one with 0 and then one with 2.5. And then yeah, and then start time. This is where you can set up a scheduler. It's good to go manual because you always want to be around your bot, just in case any errors happen or anything you don't know. But let's say you're at school or something, you wanted to set up before the drop, you can do custom and then you just set up the time here. You set up, let's say they're dropping on 08, 09, 18, 2018, and obviously you want to set up probably like at 10:59, let's say 30 maybe, and then AM. And then basically your task will start at 10:59, 30 a.m. Whatever task you have set up, it'll start up at that time. Price limit is a new feature that we added to avoid picking up the wrong items and checking it out. For example, let's say this week you ran a split T. Let's say your intentions are to pick up a split T, obviously with these keywords. Let's say Supreme decided to mess around with bots and they added like a random item that's called split that costs like $500. And let's say you put the actual T costed, let's say $60, right? If you put $60 here, it wouldn't have picked up that $500 item, which avoided you from picking up the wrong item and checking it out. So that's a pretty cool feature. What you want to do here usually is like add a couple bucks to what the item is. So the split T last week was $58. I probably would have made this probably like 60. The price limit 60 here. The hoodie was 178, I believe. So you probably would have made it just like 180, just like that. Um, Here you choose the category. Obviously the actual T should have been a t-shirts, but Supreme usually messes around, and especially on hype drops like this, it'll change the category around. So they put the T in tops and sweaters. So to avoid that in the future, if you ever want to, you just run it on you. I think it takes like probably like a couple milliseconds more to like search for the item in you compared to just searching within the respective category. But it's safer just in case Supreme ever does this again. I really recommend searching in you for hyped drops, like really hyped drops. But otherwise, you just select the category it should be in. The T obviously will be in t-shirts, hoodies would be in sweatshirts, bags and bags, etc. So that would be it for this would be a perfect setup for the T for the split T last week. Here you can bypass the Captcha. Again, I don't really recommend this. This could essentially make it so your task doesn't go through and you get caught for the bot detection or automation. And Pooky, I think, is very good. Uh, I'd run Pooky with like a zero delay because Pooky does add to the checkout. It does add to the checkout time because it has to act like it's a human and do mouse movements and stuff in the back end. So if you're running Pooky, I would lower your delay maybe to 1 or 0, 0.5, either or. Otherwise, if you don't want to run it, I'd just run like a 2.5. And then here we have like we have the capture priority. So basically, you can make all your tasks with the same priority. So you can leave all your tasks on 5, and it'll just like not prioritize any certain task. But let's say you wanted to let's say you're running for, let's say there's a really important item that you really want to get. Let's say the split T, right? Because obviously this is a really hyped item, and then there's like another item, maybe like a cap or something, like a hat. You can make this 10 priority, which would make it so it gets the capture first, and then you can make the other items anything under that. So basically, this item will have the capture priority and it will get the capture first, which means that it'll get solved first and it will get through the checkout first than any other task, while the other ones are just going down in order like this. So 10 meaning that it gets the capture first, and 1 meaning that it gets the capture the least fastest or the slowest. So you can set up on 10, and then let's say you're another task like a hat, you set it up and then you just make it 9, and like that. The split T will get the capture first, and then the hat will get it right after that. And let's say you set something up at 8, that item will get the capture next as well. So otherwise, you can just leave it at default and make all your tasks in the same priority, and it'll just get the captures as it goes. So you save the task, and that's what it will show like. Now let's do a normal task. These are obviously much easier as everything is basically set up for you as far as color, sizes, and items. So let's say you're going for the T, split box logo T. Here it is. Choose the color. It's the color. It'll show you the respective colors. This item will be dropped in white and black, and then you can choose random as well if you don't really care, which was a pretty good thing to do last week considering both colors are pretty good in resale. But let's say you wanted a black, and then you choose your size here, large, but you can also choose random again. This will just completely choose a completely random size for you, and then this will completely choose a random color for you. So, but if you want to run a specific color or thing, you just, or color or size, and you just choose it. Let's say you wanted a black large T, set it up like that, and then you choose the profile you want to run it with, and we'll touch on profiles right after this and proxies as well. Delay again. I personally do like a task with 0, and then bam, come back and then do another one with 2.5. I really recommend 2.5 or anything between 2 and 3. Again, the scheduler is the same thing. You can set up the time however you want, or you can leave it manual. Manual is the best bet. And then the T was 58 bucks. Let's add a couple bucks, make it 60. Or you can just leave this blank if you don't really care for the feature. And then you choose the thing here, t-shirts or new. And then bypass captcha, same thing. You don't really want to use that. Like I said, it can result in your order not going through due to automation. So leave that off. And Pooky is totally preference. If you want to run it, make sure you lower your delay. And if you don't want to run it, just make sure you leave like on 2 to 3 delay. So let's do it like that. We're leaving this default, and then save task. So here we are. So you can see our task has been created. We even have the picture and everything to make sure it's the right item. It shows your profile, all the information here. And then it shows your delay that you set up, which is 2500 milliseconds if you enabled or disabled Pooky and bypass. And here we have the start button, stop button, duplicate, which would literally copy that task for you, and then the trash can, which will literally delete it for you. As far as things up here, you can create we've added the in-store sign up. We have obviously for the 3 Supreme stores, the in-store sign up is usually on Tuesdays. I want to say at 10 in the morning, and basically you set up your profile and everything here. In the profiles tab, you set up all your stuff. For in-store sign up, I don't think you need a delay, so you just leave that at 0. And what this will do, it'll sign you up for the in-store drop, and then you'll get text messages from Supreme telling you what spot, if you got a spot in line, and then a couple of days later they'll message you what spot you are, and you show up, and then you just wait in line and get your item. The in-store sign up is usually need to be fast. So this is why we have an in-store sign up. So then basically, yeah, you set it to your location, your profile, 0 delay, proxy if you want to. I don't think you really need one. And then you just save the task, bam, and then you have the in-store sign up here. Here you can blur out your proxy and your profile that was used, just in case you wanted to post success and you don't want anyone knowing what profile checked out and what your proxy was looking like. And then this is in good combination with the screenshot. So then it screenshots it, and then you can save it wherever you would like. You can name it and save it whatever you would like on your computer, and then you can tweet it at Falcon Success on Twitter, or you can post it in the Success chat here in the Discord. You can export tasks. So let's say you wanted to make your task on your desktop and you wanted to back them up just in case anything happened, or if you were going to hop on a server, you can export them. Bam, save it with whatever name you want. And then when you get back onto the server, or whenever you get back onto your setup, you hit import task, look for that same file, bam, and import it, and then all your tasks should come right back up. So that's pretty good. Sort task, that'll make it so it sorts based off the name, pretty sure, in order. Here you can open up a new Captcha window. So now that we're here, let's talk about Captcha. So basically, Supreme has the reCAPTCHA system set up at their checkout. What that means is that if it detects in any way that you're not a human, it will ask you to solve a CAPTCHA, which is, I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with it. It's where it makes you choose like cars, pictures of cars, this, and that. And that's basically to stop bots. What we do to avoid that, you want to log into an old active Gmail account. Since reCAPTCHA is by Google, if you're logged into a Gmail account that has shown that it's not a bot or owned by a bot or anything like that, it'll basically skip you right through the CAPTCHA and you won't have to solve one. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to log into a random Gmail. Let's log into a random Gmail. Log into your best Gmail that you have, best Gmail account, oldest and most active. You would log into your Gmail account, and what you can do is, let's watch, I like to watch the Epic Sax guy.
Ruins flying in coach forever. And that's exactly why you should never get Hulu. With live
let
TV
then run, and I just mute it, and then, yeah. And then what you would do is leave it running. You leave it running, and you should be good to go. You should bypass CAPTCHA. And yeah, so that you definitely need to set this up, especially if you're not running the CAPTCHA bypass. So don't forget to open the CAPTCHA window, log into your most active Gmail account and oldest one, and yeah. Also, you can check if you're gonna get a one-click or not, if that Gmail is good to go, by searching reCAPTCHA demo on Google. Bring up to that page here. Show you on this link. And then if you click this and you get an instant green check mark, that means, and you're logged in, you log into the Gmail on another tab. You click this check mark right here. If you click this, you get captured here. That means that Gmail account is flagged or is not good enough to be getting 1 clicks on. So make sure that you do get an instant green check mark with the account that the same account you're logging in. Otherwise, you will get captured during a drop, and you're not gonna like it. So basically, yeah. So basically, when you solve a captcha, you get a token. The token is basically a solved captcha, and that's basically what the bot will use to put your order through. Because since obviously you're running a bot, you will get asked for captcha unless you're running the captcha bypass. And once it's gonna give you an instant green check mark in the back end basically, and then that'll give you a token, and then that'll just put that through with the order, and your order will go through. So yeah, that's what a token is. That's what captcha is, and let's just keep going through the other things here. So we have this version of the task 2 task page, which will remove all the images from it, and it won't tell you delays. Like this, you can see more items within the window. You can also make it bigger, obviously. Move it around however you would like. You can make it bigger, smaller, whatever you want. Um, yeah, here you can see this will set up, let's say you just ran a drop, let's say you struck out, or you want to run restocks for those same tasks that you were just running. You can click this, and this will make it so all your tasks get a 0 delay. They'll give you the perfect settings to run restocks, and then it'll start running restocks, which is perfect. So there's that. Here you can see a clock. This is good for a drop. It completely mimics the one on your computer, as you can see, probably like a second off. And then that'll tell you when to start the task. Basically, we recommend to start your task 15 or 10 to 15 seconds before the drop. As I said before, the drops are on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern for the US, and it's at the same time for the UK, their local time, which would be 6 a.m. Eastern, our time. So you can do that, and then you can click it again to hide it. Down here we have the actual start button. We have a start button to start our task, as you can see. We have start task slowly, which could actually can maybe help for not getting detected. This will start your task separately. This is to stop all your tasks, and this is to delete all your tasks. Also, we added this feature where you can edit your task. All you have to do is right click on the respective column. So let's say you wanted to change your profile up for this task and set up something else. You right click it, and then it'll come up with this box, and you can select another profile. If you wanted to change the size, you can change it here as well. Just right click on it. Bam. You can right click on this as well. And then yeah, you can change the item as well from a drop down. And then yeah. And here it would show you your status. So let me see if I can run like an actual task so I can show you what icons what they mean and stuff. So let's look for an in stock item. Nope, not Supreme Community. SupremeNewYork.com. And yeah, I don't know why that's going on, but happens to me all the time. Okay, so here we are. This is an in stock item. So we can run for, let's say, a medium on this. So we can just go here, delete these, create a new task, normal, handless tag tees maybe. So here, yeah, tagless tees, white, and we can run a medium test, 0 delay, manual, 60 thing, and then we can put it in accessories. That's where it's at. Save task, and then we're gonna start it up. Waiting for restock. What? Yeah, well, this is the waiting for restock status. I'm not sure what's going on there, but basically, you will see a magnifying glass when it's searching for the item, which is what you will see when you start your task and you're waiting for Supreme to add the items into their site. After that, you will see a cart item, or you see like a shopping cart, that means that the item was successfully carted. And then after that, you would see a credit card. It's like a little credit card icon, which means that it's checking out. And then after that, if you're lucky, you will see a check mark with the checkout time under it, letting you know that you successfully checked out the item. Or if you did not hit, you will see an X with the checkout time in the bottom, meaning that the task did not go through due to either terms of services or out of stock. And yeah, so there's that. So I think we've covered everything in the task page. Again, I ran through what times to start your task, uh, when what the statuses do, what every single button does, where to find keywords. Oh, also you can find your keywords on Supreme Community. I don't know if I went through that, but let's say you want, this is week 5's drop here. Let's say you're trying to run for this first and best tee. I'm sure a good keyword would be first tee, or I mean just first, and then you just put it under the t-shirt category, and that should pick up the first and best tee. That's just an example. Not really hard to come up with your own keywords, but again, this should be posted in the Discord regardless. But let's say if it's not, then you just come here and then you just set them up yourself. So yeah, we've covered everything as far as that. Let's go to the profiles thing. So here in this page is where all of your profiles would show up. This is where you set up your credit cards and your respective addresses to go along with them. And basically, this is the information you're going to be running for these items. Here, you can create a new profile. You would be creating, let me delete all this so you can see like the little light text. This is fake information, obviously, because it's a test task or a profile. And then basically, you will set up all your information here. Profile name. You can set it up anything you want. Just make sure that it's things that are together. So I like to name it no spaces, nothing with spaces. That's proven to give the bot some issues. So you can just either put it together like this, or you can do underscore, or just in general just leave it all together. Your full name here. So let's put John Smith. Your email. Let's put johnsmith@gmail.com. Your address. This is where you would set up your address. Address line 1. And if you live in an apartment, you would just type apartment 2. Or if you lived in a suite, suite 2. Set up whatever you want there. Address 3 is not usually used, but phone number, you just set up your phone number here. Again, all together. All 10 digits. Zip code, so you put your zip code in. City, you would type your city here. State, type the code there, or there should be a drop down. Country, United States, or no, you choose your country first, and then a drop down will come up. So there it is, United States, Massachusetts, and then you put in your 16-digit card number. The card type, let's say Visa. You put the expiration month, let's say 01, and then 18. And then the CVV would be the three digits in the back of your card that show up right there. So you can make that whatever, or not whatever it's on your card. And then this will basically set up so that you run that card, and then the items will get delivered to your address. You want to make sure that the address you set up here is the billing address for the card, as Supreme only ships to the billing address. You can't ship to a separate shipping address. And yeah, so basically now that we're here, let's get into how to cop multiple of the same items on Supreme. What you have to do is this thing called address jigging, which is where you change your address up a bit so that you are seen as a completely different customer, with also using a different credit card. So let's say you own a debit card and a credit card. Essentially, you can put two orders through for the same item on Supreme. Some people even use virtual cards, which have proven to work here and there, such as privacy and stuff. But yeah, you just change up your address a bit, and then you want to put a different name as well. So let's say your name is John Smith. You can either make it JON like that, or you can even use a completely different name. This could trigger your card not working if you're not using a virtual card, but if you completely change your name, that is. But if you just do like this, it should work. You want to use a different email, so I mean, let's just change it to like that. But make sure it's an actual email you have access to so you can get your order confirmation and stuff. And the most important of them all is you have to change your address up a bit. So if you put an order through with 123 Main Street, apartment 1, just like this, another order will not go through with the same exact information. You have to change it up. What you can do, you can add a 0 before your the numbers in your address. So 0123 Main Street. I like to also fully spell it. If you already did one with ST, you can fully spell street, or you can do STRT. You can do street and even add an extra T, like that. Um, but this should work. If you actually live in an apartment, you want to keep this there. If you live in a house, you can actually act like you live in an apartment and it'll still get delivered to your house. So let's say you actually lived in 123 Main Street, no apartment. You can just add like apartment 100, apartment 3, 4, which is really good, especially if you live in a house. If you live in an apartment, you have to just stick to jigging or messing around with address 1. So things that work is that, and then you can also add an X at the end. That helps. Some people even do like 3 or 4 random digits before their address. That still gets delivered. The 0 trick is pretty good. This one is pretty good too. We just add a dash and a 0. If you live in a street that's easily misspelled, let's say like uh, Deermont or something. I don't know. You can make it Deermont. Uh, Things like that. Otherwise, I usually just stick to, let's say I live on 123 Main Street. I like to do the 0 before the thing. I like to do this. And then fully spelling street for my second order. Um, you obviously want a different phone number, so you just change that up completely as well. Remember, you want to act like a completely different customer. And then you would set up your other credit card here. And yeah, make sure you have a different credit card, a different address, different everything. You want to act like a completely different customer. And that's how you call multiples from Supreme. So you can go ahead and save this. As you can see, this is the one that we made here. And then we have these export and import profiles. This is good again for if in general, if you want to back up your profile so you don't ever have to set them up again, just in case anything happens, you can set it up there. And then you can, is an import thing here. So let's say if you were to hop on a server, you don't have to set up all your profiles again. You just go down the bot, activate it, and then you just import it, and then all the profiles come up here. So let's go ahead and delete this, import, and then test. You should see both of the profiles came up and they're ready to use. So that's everything in the profiles. Oh, here you can delete it. You can delete the specific one. You can see the credit card number by clicking this I, and then you can edit it by clicking the pencil, changing whatever you want, and then hit save profile, and then you're good to go. So in proxies, let's talk about proxies real quick. Proxies aren't currently required when running tasks on Supreme. In the past, you needed them because Supreme would ban you if they saw too many requests going to their site from your IP address. But as of now, it looks like they're not IP banning, so you don't really have to worry about proxies. The only reason you would need to worry about proxies is if you're running like an literally insane amount of tasks, like I'd say probably 75 or something, and even then I think you're still good. Or if you're getting on a server, because server IPs are usually banned, which means that you won't have access to Supreme off the local IP. So you want to actually purchase proxies and import them into the bot. Supreme's server is located in Virginia. I think it's in Ashburn, Virginia. So obviously, Ashburn server and proxy combination would be pretty deadly, and that's what we would recommend as far as location. Here is where you would add a new proxy. You click this, and you just type the proxy. There's 2 types of proxies. There's user password, and then there is IP authorization or IP authorized. With IP authorized, you'd basically set up your local IP in wherever you bought your proxies from, and basically you won't need a user and password. It'll just be based off your IP that you set up within your proxy provider. But if you're running, let's say, a user password, which is what most providers give you, you would basically put your information like this. So you'd put the IP, port, user, and password, and you just put it in exactly like that. So for example, let's do 192.168.1.1.1, and then that'd be the IP. The port, let's say, is 9090, and let's say the password is Sparrow, or the user is Sparrow, and then the password is Sparrow. You would put in exactly like this. Bam. And this is for a single proxy. If you want to import like a whole list, you say import. You would go into Notepad and then basically put all your proxies in there with that same format that I said. It's either going to be IP port if you're IP authorized, or IP port user pass if not. And you want to put all your proxies in with this format, save it wherever you can find it, and then you say import proxy, look for the file and open it, and then it should put all your proxies in there. Here you can test all your proxies and it'll tell you the status there. Here you can distribute the proxies to tasks. So basically you'd set up all your proxies here and then just hit this button whenever you set up all your tasks. Here you can delete all your proxies. You can remove the bad proxies after your test. So let's say you tested 5 proxies and one was bad. You can hit this and it'll remove the bad one. So like that you're not stuck with any dead proxies and none of your tasks won't go through. And then here you can paste your proxies, and then here you can hide that proxy username and password just in case you ever wanted to take a screenshot or something. So like that no one can use your proxies. And then here you can delete all the proxies, or you can click this. So there's that. So that's proxies again. Not needed this season so far. Wasn't needed last season either. We're good to go with no proxies unless you're running a server or if you're running like over like an insane amount of tasks. But if you're running like just normal tasks at anything under 50, I'd say you're good to go. I mean, I've ran probably like 70 tasks no problem in the past. Um, so yeah, that's how that's all about proxies there. We have the settings tab here. We have colorways. You can use light mode, looks like, and then we have night mode, which is a dark version of the bot, which is very appealing to the eyes. And we have a Discord webhook here. I'm going to show you how to set up Discord webhook. What this does, it'll send you a message to your Discord. It will send a message to your Discord, basically telling you what you checked out with what profile and the time it checked out on and everything. Give you all the information about your cop. And the way you set it up, you would make your own Discord server because obviously you don't want any other person seeing this in your group Discords. So you set up your personal Discord server, and then you create a channel by clicking the create channel button. Name it whatever you want. I like to set name on Supreme or whatever, and then you go to edit channel here on the little gear icon. Go to webhooks, create a webhook, and then you can leave that default. And then this is your Discord webhook URL, which is the same one you're gonna put here into the bot. So you hit copy, save, and then click that, and that should be good to go. And then you just bam, hit Control V, which is a shortcut to paste things. So you Control V, and then that's good to go. And then you can save the settings and then test the webhook. And as you can see, it'll give you this actual information. It'll say I just cogged the name of the item, the color, the size, and the checkout time here. And it'll tell you what time it checked out on right there. So that's cool. Always remember to save your settings. And then you can deactivate your key by clicking this. I'm not going to do that right now, obviously. Help and support. You click this, and this will give you a pop-up that'll tell you the dev's emails, or yeah, the dev's emails and Twitters, as you can see right there. You can just close it. Build, it'll tell you what build you're on here. If you click this, always, whenever you're before the drop, always click this. Make sure that the bot is auto update. But here it'll tell you if any update is available. As you can see, I'm on an old version or something, so it's saying an update is available. And then if you click yes, it'll just download the update. You'll see the information there, and then it'll close the bot and install it. And when you come back up, it should be on the newest version. But what you want to look for here before drop is click this, and it should say you're on the latest version. So for now, we're not gonna do this. But yeah, that's everything as far as that goes. I want to go through a couple of your guys's for frequently asked questions. So I am going to have a list here on my computer. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna go through some of your questions and answer them. So, what time does Supreme drop? Again, I mentioned this throughout the video. Supreme drops at 11 a.m. Eastern. Uh, what is Pooky is another good one. So, like I said, Pooky is Supreme's bot detection, which it tracks your mouse clicks and mouse movement, and basically enabling this whenever you're setting up your task gives you a higher success chance, and basically like it makes it seem like you're not a human, or like you are human. Sorry. And people ask how fast is Pooky? Pooky takes around 3 seconds or so to do all those movements and verify that everything's good to go. So Supreme thinks you're legit. So that's why I recommend running a low delay when you're running Pooky. Captcha bypass is, like I said before, it completely bypasses the Captcha, and the Captcha is that whole system where it verifies if you're a human or not. If it thinks you're a human, you won't get captured. If it thinks you're a bot, it'll make you solve a Captcha, which is where you like it makes you select the buses or all those items or all those pictures. Captcha bypass again is meant for restocks. Uh, People ask, do privacy cards work on Supreme? If you guys don't know, privacy is a virtual card website or system where you link your bank account and you can create virtual card numbers, and then you can set them up within your bots, and it basically works as a completely different payment method, which is what you need whenever you're running for multiple items. Problem is that privacy is extremely hit or miss. I've seen some people have success with like the virtual cards that you can create within your own credit card company. So Bank of America has their own credit card virtual card system called ShopSafe. Capital One has their own called Eno. Uh, Citi has a virtual card system as well. I've seen people have success with Capital One this season, and I think Citi as well. So those you could use, but privacy cards, if you're really depending on hitting on that item, I would not recommend it. Um, how do I get one clicks? Referring to captchas, by the way. Basically, do as I said, and you just create a captcha window. Or you can create multiple captcha windows here, by the way. You can have this is good for whenever you're running a lot of tasks. Let's say you're running let's say like 15 tasks. Each account could probably give you maybe up to 10 one clicks max. So if you're running like 15 or anything above 10 tasks, you probably want to run two captcha windows, and then sign in separate Gmails. Make sure again they're active Gmails, and then you just go to YouTube and then you just leave them like that, minimize them, and then it'll grab one clicks from each account. So that's good. So yeah, you just basically sign in your an active old Gmail that you've made sure isn't flagged by going onto the website that I told you right here. You would basically to test this, you just log into your Gmail on a second account, on a second separate tab here. Try to solve a captcha. If it makes you solve it, that means that account is flagged. If you get an instant green check mark and it goes through, that means that that account is good to go, and that's what you would want to set up under your bot. So yeah. Well, Supreme banned me for running bots. Supreme, like I mentioned, right now does not ban IPs for running your bot, and they will not be banning from the looks of it. And if they start banning, then that's when you're gonna have to start purchasing proxies and running them under here, and then you should still be good to go and run them and run Supreme and use the bot. How do I make tasks? You can make them from either releases page for quick tasks by clicking this, setting up whatever you want here, and bam. And then you can also set them up from the creation page right here. What does a priority slider do? We already ran through this, but basically you can choose which order you receive your captchas. 10 being this you really want this item. This item will receive the captcha first, and it will get solved first. And then basically you just go down in order from there on out. If you want your second item to receive the captcha after, let's say the first task you created, you make it 9, and you just keep going on the thing. And it's basically the order in which your task receive the captcha and solves them. You want the most hyped item at 10, and then the least hyped at 0 or 1. So yeah. A token is a solved captcha. That's what Google uses to determine whether you solved a captcha or not, and it's called a token. Uh, why are my releases from last week's drop? So obviously, you can see we still have last week's drop. I mean, week 5 hasn't happened yet, but these are all obviously outdated items. Most of these items are out of stock. The reason you're seeing these and not the new items yet is because like I said, this is updated after the EU drop, which is on Thursdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, and it should be updated before the US drop, sometime between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. And you'll see the new drop down here. Um, Another question is why can we not update this before the EU drop? And this is because we need to get all the information and be as accurate as possible. So we use basically the EU Supreme drop to get this information to make sure everything is set up. We have the right colors, right keywords, right everything set up so that the items do pick up in the for the US drop and there's no problems. Um, People ask when is multi-cart coming? Multi-cart is basically where you can check out multiple items within the same order to save on shipping. This is coming probably towards the end of the season, so I would just wait on that. Um, Another thing is when is the mobile client coming? Which is where basically you can start your task from your phone, solve captchas on your phone and stuff. We have to say probably a few weeks from now. Um, another problem some users be having is whenever they're getting an invalid key, whenever they're trying to activate their bot. So if you just got your bot and you try to activate it, if you ever get an error, just go onto Discord here and then go to Falcon AL, look for the people here, and then look for the Falcon auth bot right here. You would or Falcon keybot here, and then you can hit star or asterisk deactivate, and that should deactivate your key, and then try to activate then. If you're still having issues with your key, then you can go ahead and message a admin. But yeah. Also, I forgot that this is the Falcon auth bot that I mentioned whenever you first get your bot. This is the person you'll be messaging. You want to message it /auth, and then just answer all the questions it gives you, and then you should be fully authenticated to look at all the messages or all the channels within the bot. Um, Again, uh, when do you start? When do I start tasks? Do you want to start them 10 to 15 seconds before drop time? Drop time again is Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Um, so yeah, you want to start that within then. Try not to start them anytime like 5 seconds before because the bot does take some time, especially if you use the start task slowly feature to actually start the task. So 10 to 15 seconds is perfect. Um, Again, I want to bring this up. If you guys ever need any help, anything, do not hesitate to message me on Discord. DMs are preferred, so I can actually see your messages or message anyone else in the support team. They will have a blue name like this, and they will be under the support if they're up. Just message any support that's online, basically. As you can see, I'm the only one online right now. Just message me, or you can tag me within the help. You can tag me within the help or even main channels. You just type at Sparrow, and there you get to go. Again, if you ever have any key issues, message the deactivation bot, the key bot. If you're still having issues, don't hesitate to message a developer, which is Falcon Dev or Michael in Discord, which is this guy right here. Um, yeah. Also, please try to have all your questions and have your setups before. I say Wednesday. Please try to have everything set up and all your questions in by Wednesday. Don't ask questions last minute because obviously we'll be running our bots too and we'll be setting up ourselves. But I do my best to answer the questions regardless. Just make sure you're always set up before drop time. And, yeah. So that'll be it. I think I covered everything. Good luck copying, obviously. And again, if you have any questions, don't feel free to message me, tag me on the channels, DMs preferred. But yeah, that'll be it. Thank you for watching.